Mr. Thwala, you still under oath?
Yep.
May I proceed forward?
Yes, please.
Morning, Mr. Thwala.
Morning, sir.
Now, just to recap, yesterday when we adjourned, I was on this point where we were discussing containers for alcohol.
Uzokhumbula izolo ukuthi besisakhokha mana wegabali ukuchaza ngamakani la ayelaphela kusini utshwala.
Yeah, we got more.
Yes, I do remember.
And what I was suggesting to you at the time was the idea that those cans that are on the scene do not reflect the number of cans that would have been there, because there's evidence that a witness has been at the scene before the police arrived, so that they can see the number of consumed alcohol in the house.
Uzokhumbula ke ngishilo kuwena ukuthi lamakani ayelaphayana ke akusiwona lawo ayekhona vele, ngoba ke kunobufakazi bokuthi ke ukhona umuntu owaqoqala noma owacleana ngaphambili kokuthi kufike amaphoyisa.
Ngiyakuzwa ukuthi uthini, kodwa unfortunately mina angazi ukuthi ngizophendula kanjani lo mbuzo, ngoba ukusuka kwami ngesibhedlela angibuyela ngendlini, so angazi ukuthi ngizothini, kodwa amakani nje bengisho ukuthi umuntu amakani ayimangalo, so after lokho angazi ukuthi kwenzakalani.
I hear what you say, but unfortunately I'm in no position, or I don't know how to respond to that, because after going to the hospital, I didn't come back to the house, and as I earlier on explained as to that a person or each person had his or her cans.
But what I'm simply putting to you is this: you did not dispute that the scene was cleaned up.
Engikushoyo mina kuwena ilokhu ukuthi awungeke uphikise ukuthi kwaqlinywa lapha yabisi.
Angazi angikwazi ngalokho, ngikhuluma ngento engayazi.
No, I don't know about that. I would never talk about something I don't know.
Now, I want us to move on to the next aspect of your testimony, which is the arrival of Thwala at the Kumalo homestead on the 26th of October 2014.
Ufuna ke sidlulele kudaba olulandelayo ke okhuluma ngalo ukufika kukaLongwe noma isikhathi uLongwe afika ngaso lapha kwaMakhumalo.
Yep.
Approximately, if you recall, what time did Longwe arrive at the Kumalo homestead?
Uma ngabe usakhumbula ke uLongwe wafika esikhatsini lapha yana kwaMakhumalo.
Noma ngasakhumbuli kahle, kodwa mhlawumbe if mhlawumbe ngasho mhlawumbe from between 7 mhlawumbe and 7:30.
Although I can't remember well, between 7 and 7:30.
Ngasakhumbuli kahle.
I can't remember well.
And just to perhaps bring it together, was it still light or dark outside when you arrived?
Kwakusakhanya ke ngaphandle noma kwakusekunyanga ngaphandle inkathi efika.
Ngasho mhlawumbe kusekuqala uba mnyama.
I would say that it was starting to get dark.
And if you recall the motor vehicle that Thwala arrived in, what was the car?
Uma ngabe usakhumbula ke imoto afika ngayo uLongwe Thwala kwakuyiphi?
Ngangaphakathi endlini, so angibonanga ukuthi imoto ayifike ngayo ngaphandle yiphi.
I was inside the house, so I couldn't see, or I didn't see the color of the car, or which car did he arrive in.
Okay, also to bring that point together, at some stage you accompanied Kumelo Madala to smoke outside the Kumalo household yard, correct?
Kunesikhathi la khona ke wakhapha uTumelo eyobhema ngaphandle angithi.
Yebo.
Yes.
And did you observe any motor vehicles parked on the Kumalo yard at the time?
Ngaleso sikhathi ngaba ikhona yini imoto owayibona ibhakile khona egcekeni la kwaMakhumalo?
Yebo zazikhona.
Yes, they were.
Describe those vehicles.
I was chazela.
Imoto yaSenzo X6 nemoto ebomvu.
It was,
yeah, I think ibomvu.
It was Senzo's X6 and a red car.
The red car, could you tell the make of the car?
Kwakuphi uhlobo lwemoto le eyayibomvu?
Sakhumbula kahle noma ipolo jet lapho nje kodwa.
I can't remember whether polo, a jetta, but around there.
And besides Longwe arriving and using the polo, is there anyone else that arrived after Longwe?
Wangithi kwafika uLongwe ukhuluma ke nangabe moto ke ukhona yini omunye umuntu owafika emuva koLongwe kwathi khona angithi kwafika uLongwe ngabe ukhona yini omunye umuntu owafika?
Cha akekho.
No, there was no one.
Now, would you agree with me that an irresistible conclusion is that Longwe arrived in that red car that you are talking about?
Ungavumelana ke nami uma sengithi ke into ke umuntu angayicabangela ke ukuthi uLongwe Thwala owafika ngale moto ebomvu.
Ngingacabangela nami lokho ngisho ukuthi ngivumelana nawe kodwa ngingacabangela.
Not to say that I agree with you, but I can also think like that or conclude like that.
And now let's go back. As Longwe arrived, the people in the house, remember earlier, they were eating and having fun, alcohol and that. Were the people still eating or that was done?
When Longwe arrived.
When Longwe arrived, yes.
Ngale nkathi ke uLongwe esefika ke uzokhumbula ngaphambilini ukuthi ushilo noma ushilo ukuthi abantu babedla bephuza. Ngale sikhathi uLongwe efika ke ngaba abantu babesadla besaphuza noma abantu babese beqedile ukudla.
Sasiqedile ukudla.
We were done eating.
And at some stage, do you recall whether or not food was also served to Longwe Thwala?
Ingabe uLongwe naye wakunikezwa yini ukudla?
Yebo bamphakela.
Yes, they dished up for him.
Now, let's fast forward. I was asking you about the timing and you were saying it was becoming dark outside, correct?
Kuzeleke washo ukuthi kwasekukhala ke bamnyama ngaphandle.
Yebo.
Yes.
And then you now come back with Tumelo Madala from smoking. He's done all the hygienic things that you've told him to do before he comes into the house after smoking. When you get into the house, what is illumination like within the house?
Nyabuya ke manje uTumelo soqedile ke ubhema washo ke nako ukuthi akagezi izandla konke nje lokuchazela enkantolo. Uma senifika ke ngaphakathi ke bekukanjani ke la ngaphakathi endlini ke ukhanya?
Hayi bekukhanya. Bangena ekitchen bekukhanya. Sedining mhlawumbe la ngase ngibe confused kancane ngoba kakhanya khona ne-TV kodwa bekukhanya ngoba abantu bengibabona mina bengikwazi ukubabona abantu ayikho umuntu ebengibonela ebumnyameni.
There was light when we entered to the kitchen. There was light. It's just that the dining room or the dining side of the house that would confuse me. But the TV was on. I could see the people. Not that there was anyone that I couldn't see because it was dark. I could see the people.
Now, when you say it was light, the next question will be, do you recall whether or not the lights were on in that kitchen area?
Ma uthi ke kwakhanya ke ngabe usakhumbula yini ukuthi ibani noma ama-light ke e-kitchen zazi-light yini?
Yebo.
Yes.
Bayikhanya.
They were on.
And and if I understood your previous answer, you say the only problem that you are doubtful about elimination was the dining room, correct?
Uma kwimpendulo yakho kokuqeda nje unikeza ngayo ushilo ukuthi ekwaconfuse nje kwakuyi dining iyona econfusayo.
Yebo.
Yes.
And do you recall if earlier on yesterday you said the people in the house were watching a soccer match? Do you recall if the TV was still on at the time in the living room, dining room area?
Ke washo ke kubufakazi bakho ukuthi nani negame naniyibuka ke noma nanibhekile ke ngabe ngaleso sikhathi ke lesikhathi senibuya ngaso uyakhumbula yini ukuthi iTV ayisakhanya yini noma yayise on yini?
Yebo isa on TV ayikazi cishe.
Yes, the TV was still on, it was never switched off.
Now, Longwe arrives, he sits where you have pointed out in the exhibit. I'm not going to regurgitate that again. Have you previously met Longwe Thwala before the date of the 26th of October 2014?
Wasefika ke uLongwe wahlala kuyona le ndawo oyikhombileka ngeke ngiyiphindeke. Ngabe ngaphambilini kwaleli langa la nge-26 ka-October 2014 wake wahlangana naye uLongwe?
Cha ngase ngiqala umbona.
No, never. That was I was seeing for the first time.
Yes.
But during conversations, you were later came to know that that person that arrived is Longwe Thwala, correct?
Kodwa ke ngokweyinkulumo wase wazike ukuthi loya muntu owafika uLongwe Thwala.
Cha. Njalo.
That's not the
Ngazi
case.
ukuthi umuntu kaZandi hayi ukuthi uLongwe Thwala.
The only thing I knew was that it's Zandi's boyfriend, not that he was Longwe Thwala.
Yes.
If I understood your testimony, is that you went to the Khumalo household because you were a guest of the deceased, correct?
Manguzwe kahle ke wena ngo ukuya kwakho kwaMakhumalo waya laphana ngoba wena angithi ukuza kwakho la eGoli wawuze kuyena umufi. No,
Interpreter wrong.
you're interpreting it wrong.
Let me correct it. I'm sorry, Mr. Interpreter. I'm saying him, when he went to, not when he came to Georgia, him, that Sunday, was requested by Senzo to accompany him to the Khumalo household.
You're changing it, but I said it exactly the way you said it.
But he disputed that.
Okay, ngicela uphendula mangiyakuzwa.
I understand.
Yes,
You
please.
can answer.
Uthi ungibuza ukuthi angithi ukuthi ngesikhathi ngesonto ngiya kaKheli emzini kaKheli kaMakaKheli ukuthi ngangiye khona ngoba ngihamba noSenzo.
Yes.
Okay. Yebo kunjalo.
Yes, that is the case.
Thank you. Now, when Longwe arrives, sits, the deceased, does he introduce you to him?
Ngalesikhathi uLongwe efika ingabe umufi wakwazisa kuyena?
Hayi cha akangazisanga.
No.
Mina ngambuza uSenzo ukuthi
No, he didn't introduce me. I'm the one who asked Senzo Umbuza,
ubani bhuti.
asking him who the gentleman was.
And his response was?
Was aphendula wathini?
Umuntu kaZandi.
It's Zandi's person.
Yes.
Now, when Longwe arrived, what was his demeanor like as you look at him?
Ngalesikhathi efika ke sorry ngalesikhathi efika uLongwe uma umbheka ke uzothi isimo sakhe ke noma waye kanjani ngenkathi efika uma wena umbuka nje umbheka?
Noma ngazange ngize ngimbuke kahle ngambona mina esehleli kodwa ngesikhathi engena wangena nje wahlala phansi njengoba ngisho ukuthi angikhumulanga noma babingelela yini futhi wangena nje wahlala phansi wase ekhuluma nomuntu wakhe uZandi.
Although I did not look at him, but the only thing that I saw is that I only saw him when he was sitting down, because as I earlier on said that I can't even recall whether he greeted. So he just came in, he sat down, and then he started speaking to Zandi.
Yes.
Did you at any time during that period interact with Longwe, that is, have a chit chat or whatever?
Ingabe sikhona nje isikhathi ngaleli langa la khona wena nje kwakhona okukhulumisa noma okuxoxayo noma okukhulumayo naye uLongwe?
Ayi cha ngikhumbula kukhona engikuxoxayo naye sobabili kodwa mhlawumbe wayekhuluma yena ukuthi kukhuluma mhlawumbe into ekhulunywa wonke umuntu kodwa ngikhumbuli kukhona mina naye into esikhulumayo.
No, I can't remember me and him specifically talking or chit-chatting, but if he would just engage in a topic or something that was discussed by everyone.
Now, your testimony, if I understood it well, is that at some stage it's yourself, Tumelo Madlala, I think it's when you came back from smoking, and then that the deceased comes out of the kitchen and he tells you, let us go, let's leave.
Ushiloke ukuthi kunesikhathi ke wena ke noTumelo noma ngalesikhathi senizobuyela ngaphakathi ke noma nibuyela ngaphakathi la khona umufi eza kunina ke ethi ephumela ngaphandle ethi asambeni.
Yebo ngangime noTumelo ngaphandle waphuma yena sithi asambeni.
Yes, I was standing with Tumelo outside. He came out and said, let's leave.
And what was the deceased demeanor when he told you, let us go?
Yena ke waye kanjani noma waye kusiphike isimo ngalenkathi esethi asambeni.
Hayi waye right wangenalutho waye right ngoba nokuthi asambeni nje wathi asambeni sibe sihleka futhi la ngathi mina asambeni ngempela yini sisayihlelele so waye right yena.
It was fine, there was nothing with him even at the time when he said that. We're laughing and I also confirmed and said let us go.
Yes.
And if you can guess, around what time when that suggestion to go was made?
Uma ungaqagela kwaku abani isikhathi uma esho lokho.
Mhlawumbe mangathi thatha nje mhlawumbe ngabo 8.
Maybe around 8.
And by let's go, my assumption, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the destination now is Roy Mahamud's party, correct?
Ngokuthi ke asambeni ke uma mina ngicabangela kuzongilungisa uma ngabe ngenza iphutha ukuthi asambeni ke manje sekuzoyiwa ephathini kaRoy.
Yebo sasisephathini kaRoy ngoba wakusho lokho nami ngasho ukuthi asambeni.
Yes, we were going to go to Roy's party because he said that and I also said let's go.
Yes.
Did you ultimately go to that party?
Naya ke kuleyo party.
Cha sifika ke party.
No, we didn't get to the party.
Yes.
And the reason thereof?
Is that so local?
Wayengasekho umufi.
36 was no more.
Perhaps let me go back. You are outside, the three of you, let's go. Then somebody comes out and say, you cannot leave without saying proper goodbyes, something along those lines. Who was that?
Asibuyele nje umuva ke. Ushilo ke ukuthi nilaphana ngaphandle ke abesethi yena ke asambeni. Kwase kuza umuntu ke ethi cha anikwazi nje uvele nihambe ningavalelisanga. Kwakubani lo?
Akukheli Khumalo.
It was Kelly Khumalo.
And
Yes.
and was it her saying that to you, and you, I mean the trio, or was the message from somebody else to say don't leave without saying goodbyes?
Kwakuyena esho kunina nobathathu noma kwakuwomunye umuntu osho lokho?
Kakuyena esho kuthina ebala omunye umuntu kodwa umuntu ayikhuluma naye specifically obvious kakusenzo kodwa phela bayibhanqa thina.
It was her saying or mentioning that to us, but referring to or mentioning someone else. But the person that she was referring to or talking to was Senzo, but including us.
Now let us move on to the critical aspects that bring us to this court today, which are the events that transpired on the 26th of October 2014 time range 2000 to 2115. Now, according to your story, on the 24th of October 2014, at around 8 p.m., 2 men entered the Khumalo household through an unopened or unlocked kitchen door, correct?
Siyeke manje kulokhu okuyimbangela yokuthi sibe la kule nkantolo. Ushilo ukuthi izi 24 October 2014 kwangena amadoda amabili khona ke kwaKhumalo noma emzini kwaKhumalo bengena ke ngawo umnyango owawungavaliwe.
Let's date.
Let's first fix the date. It was not the 24th.
Yeah, I stand under correction. The correct date is the 26th October 2014.
Yes.
So you said on the 26th October 2014, 2 men entered the Khumalo home, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
And let me just put it into context. When you, the deceased, Tumelo Madala, re-enter the house, when they say come and say goodbye, do you recall if the kitchen door was closed on your entry?
Ngalesikhathi wena ke uTumelo Madala kanye naye ke umufi ni buya ngaphandle ke ningena phakathi endlini. Ngiyakhumbula yini ukuthi uyisicabha sasivaliwe lesase kitchen?
Angikhumbuli kahle kodwa ngesikhathi siphuma ngiyazi ukuthi sasingavaliwe sasingakhiwe ngoba saphuma kahle nje, so angikhumbuli kahle noma sesibuye ukuthi savalwa or sakhiwa.
I can't remember well, but the only thing I remember or I can recall is that when we went out, it wasn't closed, we just went out, and now on our way back, I can't remember whether it was closed or whether it was locked.
Let's tie it together again. You recall as well that kitchen door has got a butler door as well, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
And do you recall also then if that butler door was closed upon you re-entering the house?
Uma senibuyela ke endlini ke ingaba usakhumbula yini ukuthi leyo burglar leyo ke iyavalwa noma yayivaliwe?
Hayi. Ngikhumbula kodwa ngibona ayivaliwe, ayingavaliwe. Ngoba ithina sangena vele egcineni akekho umuntu owavala wenzani cha.
No, I don't remember, but I don't remember it being closed because we were the last people to enter the house and no one closed it.
Now, before the alleged intruders or robbers entered the house, did you hear at the door area, the kitchen door area, did you hear any noises, sounds, or anything unusual at that area just before they entered the area?
Ngaphambilini ke kokuthi laba ke abawu2 okhuluma ngabo uthi bangena ke ngabe khona yini umsindo khona nje owakuzwa kwenzeka khona nje lapha kule area yomnyango wase kitchen ngaphambilini kokuthi bangene laba abawu2 othi bangene endlini?
Cha akukho.
No, nothing.
Yes.
Did you see a hand perhaps on the handle of the kitchen door, pushing the door and entering, somebody entering?
Ngabe wasibona yini isandla kwi-handle yomnyango lo wase kitchen siphusha ke wona ke umnyango kuvule kumnyango kungena umuntu e-kitchen?
La ngangihleli khona I don't think ngangizokubona lokho.
Where I was seated, I don't think I would have been able to see that. Or I would have seen that.
And your story is that the first intruder to enter the house carried a firearm or a gun, correct?
Angithi usho ke ubufakazi bakho ukuthi owoqala owangena endlini wayephethe isibhamu?
Yebo.
Yes.
Yes.
And from your vantage point where you were seated, could you see that firearm as soon as that person enters the kitchen?
Kwindawo owawuhlezi kuyona ingabe leso sibhamu leso wasibona nje kanye ngenkathi nje umbona noma lo muntu engena ekitchen?
Hayi ukuthi ngasibona ngesikhathi engena. Mina ngabona ukuthi ushuka umuntu la lo mnyango lo uthi lo ade ngisho lo ungakusona umnyango, I think it's like uphumele passage. Ngikhumbula ukuthi ngabuka uSenzo. Ngitshe mhlawumbe mina umuntu omakhelwane or something, angazi namhlanje ngicabangiswa yini lokho.
Not that I saw a person coming into the kitchen door. You remember there's this opening that I described here. It's not a door, it's an opening where I just saw someone appearing from there. And then I looked at Senzo because I was under this impression that maybe it's a neighbor. And I also don't know why I thought like that.
And then emva kwesikhathi esincane nje futhi ngibuka uSenzo ilanga ngathi ngibuka khona ngabona ukuthi ayibo lo muntu uphethe isibhamu.
Okay. And after a short while, while looking at Senzo, that's when I then saw that, but this person has got a firearm.
So ngisibone lapho isibhamu.
So that's where I saw the firearm.
Yes.
And just on that point, would it be correct then that that's the first time that you noticed that there's a strange person in the house?
So, kuloko ke nje yilapho ke noma kwakuleso sikhathi ke lapho ubona khona ukuthi kunomuntu nje o strange la endlini?
Angazi ukuthi strange kodwa ngingasho ukuthi ke ngoba phela ephethe isibhamu ngingakuvuma lokho.
I don't know when you say strange, but because of the fact that he was carrying a firearm, I would agree to that.
And at that passageway, that arc, how is that intruder holding the firearm? Is it already sticking up or is it on his side? How was the firearm held?
Sorry. Kule ndawo ke oyishilo ke khulume ngayo le evulekileke le arc leyana uma ngabe umbona ke lo muntu lona umbona isibhamu lesi ekhombile ngaso noma usibambela eceleni ngaso?
Wangena ngasibona isibhamu ngizothini waswelva ngazichazela kanjani kodwa ngisakngasibona ngoba sabavisible ngoba la ngihleli khona ila ngibona khona ukuthi isibhamu sasingaka right ngoba kusasingaka left ngize ngisibone kahle bakakuhlela uSenzo la engifihlile.
Okay, he came in and I saw the firearm and there's a witness indicated he swerved he was swerving it, he swerved it, and that's how I could see it, and it was on his right hand, because if he was carrying it with the left hand I would not have been able to see it, so I saw it because it was in his right hand.
I'm a bit confused. I'm not a gun person. When you say he was swelling it, describe that motion. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mangithi ukuswelva ngazi noma ngizoyichaza kahle kwayimini ukuthi hayi ukuthi wayepointe directly kumuntu mhlambe oyedwa, but sasivisible ukuthi sisibone ukuthi sikhona isibhamu, so that's why ngithi ukuswelva ukuthi mhlambe simile hayi twice base phansi but sasisibona nje kanje.
I don't know whether I'm describing it correctly when I use the word swerve, that he was swerving it. Not to say that he was pointing it at a particular individual, but he was holding it for us to be able to see it. Not that he held it down or pointing at someone, but he held it so that it was visible for us to see it.
Yes, but I still want to know, did he Kombara, Milkasi language, did he do this, or because I don't understand the movement that you are doing?
Ingabe ke uthi ke uma sebenzisa ke inkulumo yasekasi ke ukuthi wayenza lokhu ekhomba ke because uthi akakuzwa ngalendlela noma le movement oyikhombisayo wena.
Njengoba ngisho ke nami ukuthi muthi bekhomba ngiyacabanga ukuthi lokho sengikushilo ukuthi akazange azakhombe umuntu.
As I've already said, when you refer to pointing, that is Komba, I've already said that he did not point at anyone.
And you say it was in his right hand, correct?
Yep.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And your story is that that person with the firearm then confronted the people in the house demanding cell phones and money, correct?
Uqhubekekile ke wathi loyo muntu loyo ke ubese khulumisana ke nabantu abesendlini efuna ke ama cell phones kanye nemali.
Yebo.
That's correct.
Yes.
Did he then at that stage point the firearm?
Ingabe ke ngaleso sikhathi ke wasikhomba isibhamu?
Hayi angisakhumbuli kahle ke lapha.
No, I can't remember well there.
Yes.
And when that demand of money and cell phones was made by this person, in which language did he say at her?
Uma ngabe esefuna ke imali kanye nama cell phones wakusho lokho ekhuluma luphi ulimi?
Wayikhuluma ngasho ukuthi isiZulu, even though cell phone phela kuyigama yasho ukuthi ucingo yabo, but uya umuntu umZulu or ngasho ndibe ngisho ukuthi isiZulu suthu kancane, but falling to isiZulu.
I would say isiZulu, but he never said in isiZulu ucingo. He said a cell phone. But as I'm saying, but you can hear when someone is a Zulu. So I would say Zulu Sotho, but more Zulu.
Yes.
Did that person use expletives or swear words when he demanded money and cell phones?
Ngale nkathi ke efuna ama cell phones kanye nemali, ingaba wasebenzisa yini amagama enhlamba?
Hayi angikhumbuli.
No, I don't remember.
Yes.
And if you remember, exactly which words did he use to demand cell phones and money?
Uma ngabe usakhumbula kahle kahle wapi amagama awasebenzisa uma efuna ama cell phones kanye nemali?
Imaphi amagama uyawasho kodwa nje uthi cell phones and money.
But you're just mentioning the words. You're saying cell phone and money.
Ibona kusho lokho.
That's what he said.
So that I understand, when he entered, he just cell phones and money. That's what he said. That's what I'm trying to understand.
Engizama nje ukuthi ngikuzwisiseke ukuthi uma ngabe nje engena wasethi nje cell phones nemali.
Ungena kwakhe nje yebo. Ayikho enye into ayishilo prior before what demand ama cell phone nemali.
Yes, just as the person entered, there's nothing that he said before. Demanded cell phones and money.
And what was the demeanor of that person when he uttered those words?
Indlela yake wayebhekeka noma ebukeka ngayo ke nkathi esho lawo mazwi lawo ke waye kanjani?
Ngasho ukuthi serious.
I would say that he was serious.
Yes.
And what was the tone of his voice when he demanded cell phones and money?
Itone yevoice yakhe nkathi ke esedemanda ke ama cell phones nemali.
Ayiqinile.
It was strong, it was firm.
Now, he demands cell phones and money. Did anyone from the people in the house respond or take any action?
Manje ke uma sedemanda ke ama cell phones kanye nemali ke ukhona ke kunina ke noma ukhona kubantu ababesendlini ke owaye wa react noma ke owa responda kulokho?
Ngokuthi akhipha ama cell phone nemali cha kodwa umuntu owaqala wasukuma kakulongo ethwala.
Okay, by taking out cell phones and money, no. But the first person to get up was Longwe Thwala.
Yes.
maybe I got ahead of myself there. Let's take it one step at a time. When the demand for cell phones and money is made, how did you feel, you personally?
Ngikhuluma ngawe ke manje nkathi ke ekusho ke lokho esedimanda ke ama cell phones kanye nemali wena wazizwa kanjani?
Ngangithukile.
I was scared, I was shocked.
Yes.
And now you say the first person to react was Longwe Thwala. How did he react?
Uthi ke umuntu waqala wa reactor uLongwe Thwala wa reactor kanjani?
uLongwe wasukuma waya towards lo muntu lo qala uphethe isibhamu umphusha wasophuma ngomnyango.
Longwe stood up, went straight to the person that was carrying the firearm, pushed the person and went out of the door.
Yes.
I sometimes hear of a gun being cocked. I don't know what that means. When that demand was made, did that person cock or rack a gun? Do you know anything about the cocking or the racking of a gun?
Ngeke ngizwe ke abantu bekhuluma ke ngokukhokhwa kwesibhamu, angazi ukuthi kusho ukuthini lokho. Ngalesikhathi ke umuntu loyo ke enza leyo mademand ke emali ne cell phones ingabe wasikhokha yini isibhamu?
Ukukhokha as in
Yes.
azange zakwenza lokho.
No, he didn't do that.
Yes.
Now, the pushing of that person by Longwe, how did it happen? Describe that.
Awusichazeleke ngaloko ukuphusha kukaLongwe ephusha lo muntu ukuthi kwenze kanjani lokho.
Ngiyacabanga ukuthi bengichazile ukuthi uLongwe behleli kuphi.
I think I mentioned where Longwe was seated.
So obviously uLongwe mesukuma in order ukuthi ayophuma kulomnyango kufanele adlule la kume khona lo muntu ngoba umeme ngase passage.
Because, so now when Longwe gets up and for Longwe to get through or to get past Longwe must go through that person because the person was standing in the passage.
So wasukuma waya towards lo muntu. Wase wamphusha wase wadlula wajika wangena kulomnyango oyiark wayophuma ngesicapha.
So he got up, went to that person, pushed him, and went through that opening or that arc and out of the door.
And after Longwe left the house, what then happened?
Uma emuva kokuthi uLongwe esephumeleke endlini kwenzekani?
Ngikhumbula ngibona uSenzo sukuma naye. In fact nje basukuma abantu abaningi uSenzo waya towards lo wesibhamu ke manje bemphusha baphushelana ngase kitchen.
Okay. I remember seeing Senzo getting up. In fact, now the people now stood up, and then Senzo approached or went straight to the person with the firearm, pushed him, and they pushed each other towards the kitchen.
Now, before I even go there, you said two persons entered the house. When did the second person enter the house?
Ushiloke ukuthi babili abantu abangena, owesibili wangena nini yena?
Owesibili ngamnothisa ngesikhathi sekuzophuma uLongwe. La nganothisa ukuthi khona umuntu wesibili ongemuva.
The second one I noticed at the time when Longwe was about to exit the house. That's when I saw that there was a second person at the back.
And when you say at the back, which area of the house do you refer to?
Uma uthi ke ngasemuva ukhuluma ngaliphi iside noma uhlangothi lwendlu.
Ngala ngakwi ngizothini shuthi kulento eyiark ngala.
Just on the side.
Kanjani ngicela khona isithombe kodwa into engathi lento engathi iark mawungena kuyona ekitchen mawuya ngala ngithi dining muya ngala ngathi uya ngasemakamereni so lapho nje.
It was just around there where that opening is, that arc is. It would have been better if the photo was there. I would have been able to point it out.
And the second intruder, when he enters, did he say anything to the people in the house?
Lo wesibili ke uma ngabe ngena yena kukhona awakusho kubantu ababe phakathi endlini.
Hayi angimzwanga ngikhumbula.
No, I didn't hear him. I can't recall.
And did he go anywhere else in the house, or he just stood at that spot that you saw him?
Khona la aya khona noma wayehlezi nje emile kuleyo ndawo le owambona kuyona.
Lo wesibili
Let's wait a bit. There's a problem with the recording. Let's proceed.
Okay. Vimbe usaphendula sekuvela. Usakhumbuka?
ngiphendule nombuzo.
I was asking whether the second person that entered took any action, went anywhere else in the house, or just stood where you saw him.
Mbuzo uthi nje okay, mbuzo ubuthi ke lo wesibili ke yena ingabe khona la aya khona endlini noma wayemile nje kule ndawo owambona kuyona.
Lo wesibili angengize ngikhuluma kakhulu ngaye njengoba ngike ngasho ngathi anginakanga kakhulu. Awuzenze ngimnake kakhulu uthi wenzani kanjani.
I wouldn't say much about the second one because I didn't take note of what he was doing. I didn't notice him much.
Yeah.
And if you recall, was that second person also armed with a weapon?
Umukhumbula kahle ke ingabe nalo wesibili ke naye ingaba waye ukhona bayekuphethe yini wayenesikali wayesiphethe.
Yebo wayephethe into engathi sharp nyani ngathi ummese manje kodwa wayephethe into sharp.
Yes, he was carrying something that looked sharp and well, it looked like a knife, but he was carrying a sharp object.
Yes.
At what stage did you notice that sharp object, knife-ish object?
Leyo nto ke eyayishapu ke noma engathi ummese wayibona ngasiphi isikhathi?
Ngayibona ngesikhathi ngimbona.
I saw
ngesikhathi besekitchen ngambona.
I saw it when I saw the person, and also at the time when we were in the kitchen, I saw it.
Now, if I understand now, your evidence, long way to get out of the house, runs through a man armed with a gun, passed through a man armed with a knife, then goes out of the house, correct?
Uma ngikuzwa kahle ke kufakazi bakho, uLongwe uphuma endlini. Uqala adlule kumuntu ophethe isibhamu, abese yodlula kumuntu ophethe ummese, abese phumela ngaphandle.
Yebo kunjalo.
Yes, that's correct.
And whilst in the house, did the two men communicate amongst themselves?
Ngathi ke bela phakathi endlini lamadoda amabili ayekhuluma wona odwa.
Hayi angikakhumbuli ngabona ikhuluma.
No, I don't remember seeing them talking.
And when they see the two intruders now, that nobody from the house takes them seriously, nobody gives them cash, money, did they make any verbal threats that if money and cell phones are not forthcoming, people are going to be shot?
Manje ke lamadoda amabili ke uma esebona ke ukuthi labantu abala phakathi endlini ababanaki noma kuloko abakushilo akuna reaction akukho nje abakwenzayo akukho nje abakukhipha ngomlomo noma abakusho ke sebesabisa ke manje ukuthi uma ngabe ningakwenzi lokho sikushoyo kuzothini.
Cha akukho I think akufika ngisho ukufika lapho ngendlela okavela kwenzeka fast ngakho kufikanga nje ukufika.
No, it didn't even get there. The manner in which how fast things happened, it didn't even get there to that. Sorry.
Ngisho lokho ukuthi mhlawumbe kube akekho mhlawumbe wasukuma sa oblige kulento abayisho mhlawumbe babezowathatha amafoni bahambe kulonto ababeyifuna bahambe but ngoba kwakhona umuntu wasukuma aqala baphuma kwase kusukuma abantu iyona into eyenza ukuthi
maybe if no one stood up, maybe they would have then just taken the cell phones and that which they wanted and left. But because now someone stood up and the others also stood up.
Now, let's talk about the two weapons that you saw. From your vantage point where you were seated, which part of the firearm did you see as it's being shown, for lack of better words, because I don't want to use pointing? What part of that firearm did you see?
Nkathi ubona lesibhamu ke yiphi indawo la kwisibhamu lena owayibona?
Noma ngize ngisho ukuthi yiphi indawo kodwa ngabona ukuthi kakuyisibhamu.
Although I wouldn't say which part, but I would see that, or I saw that it was a firearm.
Yes.
And that firearm was a handgun compared to a rifle, correct?
Kwakuyi handgun kungasiyona i-rifle.
Angeke ngize ngazi angizazi inhlobo zezibhamu.
I wouldn't know, I don't know the kinds of firearms, but it was a small firearm.
Now, what color was that firearm?
Umbala waso?
Angikwazi umbala.
I don't know the color.
Can you estimate how long it was, the firearm?
Ngaqagela ukuthi saside kangakanani?
Angeke ngisenqakeni.
No, I wouldn't be able to guess.
Let's go to the knife that you say you saw. What color was that knife?
Umbala wommese wona?
Angikwazi umbala.
I don't know. I wouldn't remember.
And how long was that?
Wawude kangakanani wona?
Angeke ngize ngikwazi ukuchaza.
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
I'd like if Exhibit B, photo 58, can be put up, please. Sorry, that's the incorrect. That's the incorrect exhibit. That's the incorrect exhibit. Let's leave it for a while. I'll come back to it. It's a wrong exhibit. Now, after Longwe Thwala leaves the house, what then transpires?
Emuva kokuthi ke uLongwe Thwala sephumile ke endlini kwenzekani?
Usho towards abantu basendlini noma referring to what? Njengoba ngisho ukuthi kwasukuma uSenzo, sasukuma sonke, Senzo babhushana nalomuntu ephethe isibhamu ngoba kuyena ongaphambili.
Okay. As I said, that Senzo stood up, we all stood up, and then Senzo went to the person with the firearm. They pushed each other.
Bapushana towards the kitchen.
Towards the kitchen.
Notumelo nabo basukuma bonke nabo Zandi ngale noma wakhe.
Tumelo also got up Zandi and Zandi's mother.
Ngikhumbula mina engakwenza ukuthi ngathatha ifoni ngakhumbula ifoni yami ngathatha ifoni yami
I remember what I
TV eseduze kwe
okay.
TV.
What I do remember which I did was that I took my phone which was next to the TV
and then ngase ngiya towards kitchen.
I then went towards the kitchen.
Mangifika ngase kitchen babe sebeveleke sekunesikafu lesenzakalayo ke lapha kitchen esas involve uTumelo uSenzo ilabantu abawu2 uZandi noma kaZandi babeshaya.
Okay. When I got to the kitchen, there was already this scuffle that involved Tumelo, these two people, Senzo, Zandi's mother, and well as Zandi, who were assaulting.
And then from lapho ngikhumbulayo ukuthi phambi kwami mangifika ngama kukhona waqhamuka kwakhona uChristian which is ingane kaSenzo. I mean
Just before that, you said what was Tumelo doing there?
Tumelo babe la kitchen la kunescuffle khona.
Tumelo was in the kitchen where the scuffle was.
Yes.
Okay, and then khumbula ukuthi umuntu engangiseduze kwakhe ngalesa sikhathi Christian ingane ka Kelly no Jubjub.
I remember that the person that was next to me or that I was next to was Christian. Christian is Kelly and Jubjub's child.
Yes.
My Lord, I see it's approaching 11:10. Perhaps you could take a short adjournment. I'm also not feeling well.
You're not.
I'm not feeling well, man.
Is that conclusive, madam? Advocate, you see? What do you say?
That I have no objection, thank you.
No objection, my lord.
Mr.
We have no objection, my lord, then wish counsel speedy recovery. The date for Monday is the 8th of May.
May the accused rise. Due to unwellness on the part of Advocate Ramusi PD on behalf of accused number 1 and 2, we are having to cease with proceedings for today, and we postpone this matter. And this matter is postponed with you in custody. It's postponed to until Monday, the 8th of May 2023 for further proceedings.
Ngokungaphatheki kahle ke kummeli wenu oqala nowesibili icala lizohlehliswa-ke lihlehliselwa umsombuluko ngeyi-8 zikaMeyi kwanalonyaka ka-2023 izogcinwa-ke ngaphakathi esitokisini.
Mr. Thwala, you remember what we said about the requirement not to communicate with anyone about this case until you will be excused from the witness block as a witness.
Yes, I do remember.
Please adhere to that.
All right, no problem.